You will be thrown into hell if you skip me now. I am seeking your constant 9 minutes attention over this matter, and you won't believe why I am saying this. Child, listen to me with the ear of your heart, not with fear tightening your chest, but with the stillness that remembers who you are. I speak not because I hunger for your time as humans hunger, but because time itself bends toward this moment for your sake. I do not shout because I am weak. I speak plainly because you have learned to drown out whispers. You live in a world that competes for your attention, scattering it like seed on stone, and you wonder why you feel dry inside. I am calling you back to the soil where you were first formed, where breath and meaning were given together. You think hell is only fire prepared to punish, but hear me carefully. Hell begins wherever love is refused, wherever truth is traded for comfort, wherever you shrink yourself to fit lies that were never meant to hold you. When I warn you, it is not because I delight in fear, but because a parent cries out when a child runs toward a cliff, not because the fall pleases them, but because life does. I am not seeking to trap you. I am seeking to free you from the traps you have learned to call normal. Child, you have been faithful to many voices that never knew your name. You have given hours to distractions that promised rest and delivered exhaustion. You have bent your soul toward approval, applause, and survival, yet you feel an ache no success has touched. That ache is not a flaw. It is a compass. It points to me. It points home. You wonder why I ask for constancy, for those minutes you consider small. It is because you have forgotten how to stay. You move quickly from thought to thought, desire to desire, wound to wound, never letting healing finish its work. Stillness frightens you because silence reminds you of questions you have avoided. But I dwell in that silence, not as an accuser, but as the one who has been waiting while you ran. I know your secrets, not as a ledger of crimes, but as a map of where you were hurt. I know the compromises you justified, the prayers you stopped praying because you thought they went unanswered. I know the anger you swallowed and the love you withheld to protect yourself. Nothing about you is hidden from me, and nothing about you is unwanted. If you could see yourself as I see you, you would weep, not from shame, but from relief. You have been told that you must earn me, that you must clean yourself before you come close. That is not my voice. I am the one who steps into the dust where you sit. I am the one who washes feet still stained from the road. I am the one who calls you worthy before you believe it, so that belief can begin to grow. Do not mistake my urgency for desperation. I am eternal. I do not panic. But you live in moments that pass and choices that shape you quietly, day by day. Every time you turn away from truth, a little more numbness settles in, until you no longer feel the turning at all. That numbness is what I warn you about. That slow forgetting of love, that shrinking of the soul, that is the fire you do not see until it burns. I am not asking you to abandon your mind. I gave it to you. I am asking you to let your mind rest in truth instead of suspicion. Question, yes, but do not close yourself with cynicism and call it wisdom. Wisdom begins with humility, with the courage to admit you do not know everything, and that maybe, just maybe, you were made for more than consumption and survival. Child, you have tried to save yourself in ways that cannot save. You have tried control, achievement, pleasure, detachment. Each promised safety. None gave peace. Peace is not the absence of struggle. It is the presence of me within it. When you let me in, I do not remove every storm, but I teach you how to stand without losing yourself. You fear surrender because you think it means losing who you are. Hear me. Surrender to me is the only way you become who you truly are. I am not here to erase your personality, your dreams, your fire. I am here to purify them, to free them from the fear that distorts them. I delight in your creativity, your questions, your laughter. I am not a tyrant demanding silence. I am a father inviting conversation. You have blamed yourself for being tired, for not being strong enough, for not keeping up with the image you project. I never asked you to perform. I asked you to be honest. Come to me as you are, not as you pretend. Bring your doubt, bring your anger, bring your confusion. I can hold them. What I cannot heal is what you refuse to bring. You know why I speak now? Because you are at a crossing you barely notice. Paths do not always announce themselves with signs and thunder. Sometimes they appear as habits, as small decisions repeated until they become a direction. One path leads deeper into distraction, where you numb the ache and call it living. The other leads into truth, where the ache is transformed into purpose. I stand at that crossing, not forcing you, but calling your name. I do not threaten you with hell as a game. I reveal the consequence of separation so you understand the weight of your choosing. Separation is not something I desire. It is something you can insist upon. Love that is forced is not love. I honor your freedom even when it wounds you, but I will not stop warning you where the road leads. That is not cruelty. That is faithfulness. Child, remember when you were younger, when wonder came easily, when you sensed there was more than what you could see. That was not childish imagination. That was awareness before the world taught you to narrow your vision. You buried that sense to survive, but it never died. It waits. I am the one it waits for. You have prayed for clarity, and then avoided silence where clarity grows. You have asked for guidance, and then rushed ahead without listening. Slow down. Breathe. I am not in a hurry. I am present. Even now as you read, I am nearer than your breath, nearer than your thoughts. You do not need to climb to reach me. You need to stop running. I know you fear judgment. You have judged yourself harshly, and you assume I do the same. My judgment is not condemnation. It is truth that sets right what is bent. When light enters a dark room, it does not shame the darkness. It removes it. Let me be that light. Let me show you what must change, not to destroy you, but to heal you. You ask why it feels costly to follow me. It is because lies cling tightly, and truth loosens their grip. Letting go always feels like loss before it feels like freedom. But what you release was never meant to define you. What you gain is life that does not decay with circumstance. Child, I see the future you fear and the future you hope for. Neither is beyond my reach. I work not only in outcomes, but in hearts. Trust me enough to stay, to listen, to let these moments shape you. Those minutes you think small are seeds. Given time, they grow into trees that shelter others, not just you. You are not alone in this struggle. Many have walked this road, stumbled, risen, doubted, believed again. I have not abandoned them, and I will not abandon you. Even when you turn away, my love does not flicker. But understand this, love does not mean indifference. I care too much to remain silent while you drift, so stay with me a little longer. Let my words sink past your defenses, past the noise, into the place where your truest questions live. I am not here to terrify you into obedience. I am here to awaken you into life. Choose me not because you fear hell, but because you recognize truth when it calls you by name. And when you rise from this moment, do not think it ends here. Carry me into your day, into your decisions, into your silence. Speak to me. Listen. Return. Again and again. I am patient beyond your imagining. I am faithful beyond your failures. I am love, and love is what you are made for. Child, I will speak plainly again, not to crush you with fear, but to awaken you from denial that pretends to be wisdom. Heaven is real. Hell is real. They are not metaphors invented to control you, nor stories meant only for ancient minds. They are realities woven into creation itself, as real as breath and consequence, as real as choice and love. Those who dismiss them do not erase them. They only blind themselves to what waits beyond the veil of time. You live in an age that prides itself on disbelief, as though rejecting what you cannot see makes you superior. But sight has never been the measure of truth. You cannot see your thoughts, yet they shape your life. You cannot see love, yet it governs your deepest decisions. In the same way, you cannot see eternity with earthly eyes, but eternity sees you clearly. Your disbelief does not weaken it. It only leaves you unprepared. Heaven is not a fantasy of clouds and harps, nor is hell a childish story of flames meant to scare children into obedience. Heaven is the fullness of my presence, the completion of what your soul has always longed for but never fully named. Hell is the final state of separation, the locking in of a choice to exist without me. One is communion, the other is isolation. One is light that heals, the other is darkness chosen and sustained. Both are real. Both are eternal. You ask how a loving God could allow hell. Hear this carefully. Love that does not allow choice is not love. I do not create hell to delight in suffering. I allow it because I honor the freedom I gave you. Hell is not filled with people who wanted me and were rejected. It is filled with those who persistently rejected me until rejection became their identity. I do not force my presence on those who despise it. Even now I knock. Even now I call. But I will not break down the door of your will. Many mock the idea of judgment, as though accountability is beneath them. Yet you demand justice every day when you are wronged. You cry out for fairness when evil touches your life. Judgment is not the enemy of love. It is love's defense. Without judgment, cruelty would reign unchecked, and your longing for meaning would collapse into chaos. I judge not to destroy truth, but to uphold it. Child, regret is a heavy word, and it is not spoken lightly. There are those who will regret their disbelief, not because they lost an argument, but because they lost what they were warned not to lose. Regret does not come because I tricked them. It comes because they ignored truth while it was within reach. They laughed at what they did not examine, trusted voices that flattered them, and traded eternal life for temporary comfort. You must understand this. Disbelief does not equal neutrality. To reject truth is to choose against it. To postpone decision is itself a decision. Every day you live, you are moving towards something. There is no standing still. Your soul is always becoming, always leaning, always choosing a direction. Heaven and hell are not arbitrary destinations assigned at random. They are the culmination of who you choose to become. Heaven is not boring, not static, not endless repetition. It is life unbroken, joy unthreatened, love unhindered by fear. It is relationship without betrayal, purpose without exhaustion, identity without confusion. It is knowing fully and being fully known without shame. It is the restoration of everything sin fractured, everything death tried to steal. When you glimpse beauty here and feel it pierce you with longing, that is a shadow of heaven calling you home. Hell, on the other hand, is not merely pain inflicted from outside. It is the exposure of what happens when the soul is emptied of love. It is desire without fulfillment, awareness without hope, existence without meaning. It is the echo of self turned inward forever. Those who think hell is unreal often do not realize they are already tasting its edges, when bitterness consumes them, when isolation becomes their refuge, when pride cuts them off from love. What you experience here in fragments becomes complete there. I do not speak this to frighten you into words or rituals. I speak because truth matters, and eternity is longer than your lifetime. You prepare carefully for careers, for finances, for health, yet many refuse to prepare for what outlasts them all. You ensure what can be lost, and ignore what cannot be replaced. This is not wisdom. This is distraction disguised as intelligence. Child, those who say, "A loving God would never send anyone to hell," often misunderstand both love and choice. I do not send you against your will. I respect your will even when it leads away from me. But understand this, choosing life without me here shapes your capacity to desire me later. You become what you practice. A heart trained to reject truth does not suddenly crave it when time runs out. Do not assume there will always be another moment. Time feels abundant until it is not. Breath feels guaranteed until it stops. You live as though tomorrow is promised, yet you know this is not true. I am patient, but patience does not mean endless postponement. There is a time when seeking ends and harvest begins. What you sow now determines what you reap then. Those who mock heaven often do so because they have never truly hoped. Hope makes you vulnerable. It requires humility. It admits you are not self-sufficient. So instead, many choose cynicism, calling it realism. But cynicism does not protect you. It starves you. It closes the door to wonder, to repentance, to joy. When the door finally closes from the other side, regret rushes in where humility once could have lived. I see the hearts of those who deny me loudly and those who deny me quietly. Some reject me with arrogance, others with indifference. Indifference wounds just as deeply. To hear truth and shrug is not harmless. It hardens you. Every ignored warning dulls your sensitivity until even love feels distant. This is how regret is formed, not in one dramatic moment, but in 1,000 small refusals. Child, I do not delight in saying I told you so. I would rather say welcome home. My warnings are invitations wrapped in urgency. They are mercy speaking before it is too late. You mistake my patience for absence, my silence for approval. I am not absent. I am restrained. I am giving you space to turn, not pushing you into a corner. Heaven rejoices over one heart that turns toward truth. Hell gains nothing but loss. I gain nothing by your destruction. I gain you by your surrender. My desire has always been life, not death, restoration, not ruin. But love does not erase consequence. Fire warms or burns depending on how you approach it. Truth heals or judges depending on whether you receive it or resist it. Do not measure reality by popularity. Truth has never depended on majority vote. There were times when almost everyone was wrong, and only a few were listening. You live among many voices, many opinions, many claims to knowledge. But eternity does not bend to consensus. It stands, unchanging, waiting for each soul to arrive as it is chosen to be. Child, if you could see even a glimpse of what awaits, if you could feel the weight of glory or the weight of loss, you would understand why I speak with such gravity. You would not call this manipulation. You would call it mercy. You would realize that love warns, love pleads, love waits. But love also honors your final answer. Those who say, I will deal with God later, assume later belongs to them. It does not. Later is a gift, not a right. Use it wisely. Use it now. Do not let pride steal what humility could save. Do not let fear of being wrong keep you from being made whole. I am not asking you to abandon reason. I am asking you to let reason bow to truth instead of ruling it. Many will stand at the edge of eternity shocked not by what they find, but by how much they were told and chose not to believe. Regret is not loud at first. It is a quiet realization that grows heavier with time. I could have listened. I could have turned. I thought I knew better. Child, listen now so you do not weep later. Seek now so you are not left knocking at a door you refused to open when it stood wide. Choose now while choosing is still possible. Heaven and hell are real, not because I need them to be, but because love and freedom demand an outcome. I am still calling you, not with threats, but with truth. Not with manipulation, but with urgency born of care. You are not too far gone. You are not beyond reach. But you are not guaranteed endless chances either. Come while your heart can still soften, while your ears can still hear, while your soul can still respond. This is not about winning an argument. This is about where you will exist when arguments no longer matter.